Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I'm George. We're all George. So, good morning. Welcome to another market open stream. And today, let's talk about this specific day that's coming up. And that signals the parabolic bull run for Bitcoin, right? That's what we're waiting for. So let's talk about it. And let's talk about also why Bitcoin isn't moving right now. Let's talk about that. And let's talk about what's going on with some other crypto that are moving. So let's do it. Welcome, 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 guys. Good morning. Bitcoin still going sideways. Why is Bitcoin not moving? Why is it not moving? Why do we just keep going sideways? Well, like I've been saying, you got to have some patience. You just have to have some patience. It seems like we've been going sideways forever, ever, like we've never moved before, but that's just not true. When in doubt, zoom out and realize that, yeah, this is perfectly normal. But we do have some stuff that's going on right now that's contributing to this. Right now, we know that Bitcoin spot ETFs, they are out and they are bringing massive amount of volume, okay? 11 billion worth of volume on the fourth day. Again, just the fourth day. Now, there's one company, and I talked about them yesterday. I'll talk about them some more today, that has been selling. Not only do they not have a choice, but their insiders also seems like they may want to cash out. And that is Grayscale. Grayscale, for an entire decade, bought and bought and bought and bought more and more Bitcoin to put in their trust. And now, for the first time ever, they're able to sell it because of the ETF conversion. And they have been selling by the boatloads, okay? Yesterday, they sold a lot. It turned out it was one of the biggest sells ever. It was like 18,400 Bitcoins. That's close to $1 billion of sales, outflows from Grayscale. Okay, now the good thing is that itself sounds really scary, right? If they're selling $1 billion every single day, how will Bitcoin ever go up? Well, the good news is it's being eaten by everyone else, okay? Including BlackRock and Fidelity. They are just growing by leaps and bounds right now. So this is an accurate number as of day 4. Okay, BlackRock now holds $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Over $1 billion. Fidelity, second place, pretty close. $890 million worth of Bitcoin. Then Bitwise, about $375. Then ARK, $280. And Invesco, about $135. The good news is, even though in total, 1,600, well, in this case, $1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin sold from Grayscale, then in its entirety of all the ETFs out there, it's less than that, right? So you could see if you add up all the numbers, they are definitely going up. But the thing is, you know, I've been saying, it's great to see these big boys like BlackRock and Fidelity accumulate Bitcoin. Sure, it's making Bitcoin more scarce. But what is it really doing? It's taking Bitcoin away from regular Joes like you and I, right? So make sure you don't want these guys to take up all of your Bitcoin. There's only so many. Bitcoin has a set supply. And with the halving event that's coming up, that we'll be talking about in just a little bit, I mean, it's going to be more and more scarce, right? So in the meantime, ETFs are here. Massive volume. One of the biggest commodities on earth already, right? And ETFs are going to make Bitcoin even bigger. And the volume shows how much interest there is. And this is right now when Bitcoin is at 42,000. Wait until Bitcoin hits 80,000 or 100,000. You're going to see BlackRock hold like $100 billion worth of Bitcoin by then. It's going to be crazy. And the FOMO will only escalate and the price appreciation will follow. It won't be like this anymore. It's going to start doing that I believe later on this year, not even in 2025. I believe it's going to be happening this year. Even BlackRock, you know, we talked about how they had this really, really calm and soothing ad that they put out. But now they're also putting out charts like this showing Bitcoin leads the way when it comes to gains. Okay, you just can't outperform Bitcoin over long haul. Yes, 2014, 18, and 2022, those were the years after peak years, right? But every other year, it's all Bitcoin. It's not even close. And look at the cumulative and annualized, right? Like, again, if you look at a chart like this, why would you put money anywhere else? Why would you buy the S&P 500, SPX, when you get an annualized return of 13% versus 124% for Bitcoin? Or gold at an annualized growth of 2%. Again, 2% or 124%, right? Like it's a no-brainer. And now even BlackRock is pointing it out for everyone, right? Like we've been showing charts like this, or at least I have, for years. No one paid attention. Now BlackRock, when they do it, people are going to pay attention, right? It's just so obvious. It's just so obvious. Why would you hold anything else besides Bitcoin? Well, if you're in the crypto sector, yes, you could hold alts, you could hold memes, but I'm saying outside of the crypto sector, just nothing that's close. Why would you hold anything else? Now, there's something else. I've talked about this before in my last Sunday video. There are signs that the miners are selling. Not only selling, but they are dumping. 450 million in a single day. That is a lot. That will definitely cause some downward pressure. But does this mean that the miners are going away because they no longer want to be part of this new cycle? No. It's because they've been holding for so long. They need to take some money off the table because this big day, the halving day, is coming. They need to be able to buy more room, more equipment, more miners. They need to keep up. The difficulty of Bitcoin basically doubles after the halving event because now you're getting half of what you used to, right? So they basically have to double their infrastructure to keep up with the same rate. So I do believe a lot of miners are selling right now. They are selling because they need that money. It's very costly to buy thousands to tens of thousands of Bitcoin miner machines. Each one is like $3,000. You buy 10 of them, it's 30 grand. You buy 100 of them, 300 grand. You buy 1,000 of them, you get the picture, right? It starts getting really expensive. So I think these miners, they're doing exactly that. They're taking some profits right now. They've been mining for years without selling. Now they're selling a bit because they're getting ready for this big day. But to counteract the miner selling, we have a unsung hero, kind of. Not that I really want this company to be a hero, but Tether is buying by leaps and bounds too. Tether just bought close to $400 million worth of Bitcoin. They hold $3 billion, and that number will only go up. One thing that Tether is doing to kind of change their PR is taking a portion of their quarterly profits every quarter and utilizing that to buy Bitcoin and putting that into the reserves, right? So obviously doing it now looks awesome because if you're Bitcoin maxi, you love to see hundreds of millions of Bitcoin being bought, but also obviously it's a smart move because as Bitcoin goes up, whatever that treasury is 2.8 billion, could become 28 billion soon, right? So it's a smart move right now while we're in this phase. So yeah, that's also happening, right? So even though the miners may be selling, Tether and others, I'm sure Michael Saylor is probably preparing to buy another batch of Bitcoin, right? It's going to happen. So that's why right now we're kind of going steady. We're not dumping. We're just going sideways because you do have some that are selling like Grayscale and the miners. And then you have others that are buying like Tether and BlackRock, right? They're kind of counteracting. And that's why we're going sideways. It's that simple. But you know what? Are we going to go sideways forever? The answer is no. We're not going to go sideways forever. Again, you got to have patience. We haven't been up here for that long. But everything changes in 90 days. Everything changes after the halving, which is coming in 90 days, 18 hours, 43 minutes, 40 seconds. Approximately. This is based on blocks, okay? So sometimes blocks come faster, sometimes they come, later. So approximately, let's just say under 100 days. And why does this change things? Why does a parabolic bull run always start on this day or shortly afterwards? No reason. It just does. But we do know that on this day, the inflation rate of Bitcoin gets cut in half. And this will be the first time in Bitcoin's history where Bitcoin's inflation rate is actually lower than gold. Okay? It is at a very low level. So 90-something% of Bitcoin has been released and mined already. From here on out, everyone's just fighting for less than 10%. And that's going to stretch for over 100-something years. So if you think about it, there's just not that many that will be released. And everyone's fighting for what exists now. Okay? And that's it. There's a set supply. There's not infinite amount of Bitcoin that can be mined. Not like gold or silver or copper or palladium or platinum or any precious metals. Bitcoin, you can't just find more out of the ground. It's set in code, and there is a limit. So that's why parabolic runs usually happen after a halving event. Now, why do they happen immediately afterwards or shortly afterwards? No reason. Maybe retail investors are just timing it, right? But this time around, with institutional investors also paying attention, retail investors, institutional investors, whales, everyone in between, when they all start FOMOing, that's when the parabolic bull run starts. We're in a bull run already, but I'm talking about the parabolic run, and that looks like this. Okay. And if you look at the left side, that's what's happening right now. And you look at the right side, that's what happened back in 2019. If you look at it, it's almost identical. They actually do look almost identical, because that's what happens after a halving event. Every single time you have a halving event, you have similar movement. They're not identical, but they are very similar. Just like this one, if you go back and compare it to the 2016 cycle, what happened before, what happened after a halving event, I think they're going to be very similar. And this is also looking at another indicator called ADX, DI indicator, and it hasn't crossed and it hasn't been bullish in 8 years. Not even in 2021 when we had that run, it was bullish. But now we are going to get that bullish cross. We're going to get that golden cross. Again, we haven't seen that since 2016. That is, I'd say, pretty bullish. Pretty bullish. So that is what we have to look forward to. Stay strong, be patient, continue to do what you're doing, which is just holding and DCA. That's really it. You don't need to do anything else. Don't be feared out of the market. Not now. You're going to regret it dearly if you do. This is not the time to be feared out of the market, to think that, I have enough gains, I'm going to get out of here. No, definitely not the time. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? There's still a lot of ETF news. We had some ETH ETF hype. Are we going to get Solana ETF hype? Franklin Templeton, again, I don't know who's running their Twitter, but all they talk about is crypto now. They don't even talk about investments. They're supposed to be a very conservative, asset manager, wealth management, company in the trillions of assets like BlackRock and Fidelity. But all they talk about right now is crypto. And here's a big post about Solana and how, memes and Fire Dancer. I mean, they even know about Fire Dancer. DeFi, DePIN, NFT innovation, they're just talking about it, right? And some people are speculating that maybe Solana's going to get its own spot ETF. I don't know. I don't even know if Ethereum's going to get their spot ETF this year. But It may happen eventually. It may happen. We'll wait. We'll wait and see. But in the meantime, what's happening at Solana is memes are blowing up. Dog with hat just had perpetual futures launch on Binance, so that's pretty big. It's already existing on MEXC too, but WIF has been going up to the moon, over 400 million. I think it's 100% locked. They will get Coinbase listing soon, so there's no doubt about it. And you're seeing like large transfers like this to buy WIF. Okay, I mean, enormous amounts. People are definitely FOMOing in, but of course, it is quite large already. So you have another one, Myro, right? That's a little bit smaller, but even they crossed over 200 million now. They're getting listed on Bybit. It's just a matter of time they get listed on Coinbase. I still think, I said it last night, those of you guys that tuned in last night, I think both will get listed on Coinbase simultaneously. I think that's what Coinbase is waiting for. They're both big enough. Once Myro gets about 300 million, you know, they cross that threshold. And then by then, WIF will probably be 500 million. And they're both be good targets, really good targets. And right now, Myro has 1/3 of the trading volume of Solana on KuCoin. So obviously, a lot of people are FOMOing in. A lot of people are FOMOing in. And last night, a treat for you guys, those of you guys that tuned in, I talked about a new meme on Polygon that I invested in, CULO. And last night when I showed it to you guys, it was at 800,000 market cap, and today it's at 2.6. So it did go up quite a lot overnight, but we'll see. Polygon does not have a lot of memes. This one is gaining traction. I know the team, their docs, fair launch, quick swap, Sandeep, both may be getting behind it. And Moon Daddy, he has a lot of athlete friends. Warren Sapp was in their spaces last night. This one looks like it could be a real winner, but this is why you guys need to tune in every single stream so you don't miss out on alpha like this. All right, outside of that, that's it. Let's talk about Q&A. All right, let's see what I missed here. George smashing on a blue label. Blue labels is reserved for good days, not sideways days. Mike Andrew, morning. Okay. Have I registered for Satoshi VM IDO Ape launch now? I have not. I have not. I sold my cock for more Pepe. You know, no one is asking about Pepe these days. I mean, they're still holding about 500 million, which is good. I mean, but they already got the Coinbase. Well, no, they don't have the Coinbase. They have the Binance. They don't have the Coinbase. I don't know if Coinbase will add Pepe. But Gemini has Pepe. So, I mean, but Gemini is small. Fed rate needs to stop. It did. It's just not, it hasn't dropped yet, but that will be coming. Will mining like Wolf rise or drop on halving? Wolf. Is this a miner company or a project? I don't know what project this is. Fire Dancer will give Solana 1 million TPS. That's what I hear. It's like a whole set of new validators. So, and it's supposed to make the network more robust. Knock on wood right now, in 2022 to 2024, we haven't heard about Solana having any network outages at all. And Fire Dancer is supposed to once and for all make that impossible, right? I mean, in terms of having network outages. But we'll see. Any good memes on base chain? Not that I know of, no. I got into one before. They weren't really a meme, but kind of a meme, and then it just like went to zero. So I have not been following base chain that much. Uh, Pablo, I didn't have to, but Moon Daddy did. Pepe on Sol, please. No. You know, when you have something popular, if you have Pepe on ETH, and then you try to copy it on Sol, that's a recipe for disaster. It's never worked out, right? If you're going to create a new meme, you got to do it so that it's original, it's creative, it's very memey, you know? Goody says, where's that tweet? Goody Salvador, George, I work for Franklin Templeton, and all wholesalers have daily meetings about crypto products. That's awesome. I mean, what more do you want, right? Like all the big boys, they're all talking about it. We only dreamt of this in previous cycles. Not even in 2021 did we have all these big boys trying to FOMO in. They started to, but I remember 2017, no talks about any of these big boys having any kind of interest. 2021, start hearing about it. Now in 2024, everyone is talking about it. You know how times have really changed. Nat's Day Today channel. What a name. Morning, George. I heard Doge was going to do well this year. I don't know where you heard that from. Unless Elon officially starts pumping them like crazy, I don't think Doge is going to do well at all. I think Doge will trend up and they could do well in 2025, but there's no catalyst. They don't work on anything. No partnerships, no upgrades, nothing. So I don't see how they're going to differentiate themselves. And it's so big already. It takes so much money to move Doge. That's the problem. And where can you buy CULO? QuickSwap. They actually have it on their website. It makes it really easy. Let's see. Thoughts on C-Pool, Clearpool. I don't think I've ever heard of C-Pool. Look at Myro trending. 220 million. Yeah, pretty good. What's C-Pool? Clearpool, 51 million. Having a good day. Pump day today. First decentralized credit marketplace. Lend intelligently, borrow efficiently. You know what? I was helping this project. I was kind of doing the same thing. I mean, it's lending, but it seems like they have some kind of credit score. Yeah, it's definitely not decentralized lending. Otherwise, you wouldn't get yield like 13% on Ethereum. There's something going on that I don't quite understand, but they are backed by some big VCs there. Those are some big Arrington and Sequoia. They're pretty big. I'm just going to say okay. It's not something that I would be very interested in at all. Recommend alts for the halving. Hey, that's where you need to tune in every day. I talk about alts every night, basically. You know, it's not hard to remember my schedule. 8:30 a.m., 8:30 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. You know, I've been having that. I stuck with that schedule for years now. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys are new. 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Friday also a.m. and then Saturdays a.m. but it's a little bit different. But you know, Monday through Friday basically same. But if you haven't caught on, like I do alts, more alt stuff on the night at night, and then more Bitcoin stuff in the morning. Pop E22, congrats, George. You're doing great. You have helped me a ton, are helping the masses be proud of the good you do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rather than the negative comments that I saw endlessly during crypto winter. Thank you. Dave Thompson, thank you for that. Do you think AGIX will reach $4? I don't know where it's at right now. $4 is more than 10x, 15x. Can it happen? Yeah, it could happen. I mean, they debuted at $1.5, so it could happen, but I don't know if it will. Fold. I've never heard of Fold before. Manifold Finance with zero market cap. Probably too early. Where do you get CULO? CULO's on Polygon. So the biggest DEX on Polygon, ooh, they just crossed 3 million, is on QuickSwap. And there's another site, Astronauts, if you can't use QuickSwap, but they're on QuickSwap. If you go to their website, it has it directly linked to the right contract on QuickSwap to make it easier. ETH head development drop an NFT on Luxo Moon soon. Well, Fabian, he was a main guy within Ethereum. And I know their mainnet is finally out. I just don't know if they could differentiate themselves enough away from all the L1s and the L2s. I mean, years ago when Luxo was being worked on, the L2s didn't even really exist. Arbitrum and Optimism didn't exist. Base didn't exist. A lot of these other ones, you know, Midas and everyone else didn't exist. But now they do. So I don't know if Luxo is going to be able to differentiate itself. Maybe. It's still, you know, small cap. It could. Man, I need to go faster with these chat. Is Elon part of Zai? No, he's not. Told you about Big Floppa on Solana, up 95% today. Great teams we're looking at. Well, JMR, man, I told you about CULO, and it's up like 300%. So I think I did okay. Tuman, thoughts on Fidium? I don't know what. Banking done right. Okay. Okay, we're in crypto. We're not looking for new banks. So I'm going to say no. Will Bonk rip in a bull run in your opinion? Yes. Yes. Even though they're stale right now, but think about it. They're already 800 million market cap, okay? And Bonk was back to 400 or 300 recently. So they doubled in a very short amount of time. I think they'll rip. They'll rip like, you know, they'll be like the next Sheeb. But you got to wait. You got to be patient, though. I got info for you. Gary Inu dot XYZ. Thanks for sharing. Could you talk about a little bit about Synkiss? Man, you guys are asking a lot of these like unknown projects I've never heard of before. Under 10 million. Too early. 25 guns, 2 super chats, 450 Bitcoin mined after halving, about 20K BTC traded daily. What do you think about this ratio? Well, obviously, the ratio is off. There's a lot more demand than supply. That's the reason why Bitcoin goes up. It's quite simple. The demand is higher than the supply. And after the halving event, that's when the parabolic bull run starts, because the supply gets cut, or an inflation rate gets cut in half. And the supply, it just keeps on diminishing. You can see it more and more being taken away from the exchanges. More and more Bitcoin is held for a longer period of time. So that means there's just not that much to go around, right? People, a lot of the doomsayers keep saying, calling for another, 30% drop or a new low or whatever it may be. You notice that it hasn't happened. It's because Bitcoin is just so damn strong right now. And that's because there's just a lot more holders, and people realize that with the big boys coming in, they're going to be accumulating everything. You don't want these guys to take everything. What's your best guess on the price of being end of 2025? Well, they're about $1 billion now. So can they do like a 10x, 10 billion, 15 billion, 20 billion? I think that's very possible. Very possible. Rocky, never looked into them. I thought CULO was Spanish, not Italian. I guess it means the same thing in both Spanish and in Italian. What's going on at Morpheus Network? I work in supply chain, ocean freight, and was helpful about the project. I don't know. They were smaller, more in Europe. I mean, if you're in supply chain, ocean freight, I mean, yeah, they had some promising stuff going on, but I just don't know how many companies care about what they do. I think, I mean, if you're in supply chain, then you should still be into VeChain, right? Morpheus just, I don't know. They never caught on. Rocky. Rocky took a big dump, but it's 15.8 million on Solana. Could be doing well, but I don't like how big it took a big dump. But you know what? It could do well. Manta Network. I mean, they're L2, right? So their TVL is actually quite high. They're neck and neck with Midas. So it's good. I mean, it's another promising L2. I just don't hear much about them at all. But their TVL is quite high. When I looked at it last time, it was really high. So as for L2 play, it's not bad. You know, they're a little high already, over 500 million. Not bad. Man. Ben, thank you. Say, is it still worth it? Yes, I'm a big fan of Say. Do you think Aptos will reach 50 or Sui is better? Between the two, I think Aptos has more momentum, a little bigger, more dApps. Sui is relatively new, but I think they're both worth holding on to. Any NU, I'm going to skip looking at that. Embrace the 42. I don't know what that means. Relixar had, and then Joseph, both message retracted. Why? Wait, D. Lee asked, what no KYC exchange is good for United States people? There's very little. Every exchange is forcing KYC. The one I've been experimenting with now is called TapBit. And TapBit, they seem to be okay. So you could try them. Or there's another one, BTCC, that Noah's been talking about on CRU Plus. But try either one. TapBit is pretty good. Tony, how do you think Atom will fare in this bull run? You know, I think Atom will do well, but here's the kicker. I think the ones out of Atom, the L1s out of Atom will do better. So I definitely think Injective will surpass Cosmos soon. And I think Celestia and Say and, you know, other ones, they could do very well. Relixer, appreciate that. Another, the Lannister, welcome, new member. Will mining companies go up during the halving? I think so. You know what? You know why I take that back? Their profits are going to be cut in half. That's why they're selling off so much, because they need to make money. They need to accumulate money to buy more equipment and infrastructure. So I'm thinking they should. They still hold a lot of Bitcoin. So with the halving event, with Bitcoin's price going up, mining companies should go up too. Not a fan of LimeWire. Bitgert. Bitgert. Sounds funny. Pretty small. Build with Bitgert chain. I'm sorry. They look like 100 other L1s, and they're competing with some of the biggest chains out there. I really can't say if they will do well this cycle. Yeah. And they're already on a lot of exchanges too, so I don't know if they're going to do well. I mean, like, there's just so many L1s and L2s, right? And there's only so many dApps coming aboard. Not everyone's going to do well. They'll probably survive. I don't know if they will do well. A lot of these chains are also pretty broke, too. Bad AI, official partnership with Sheep. That doesn't mean a whole lot these days. Sheep just, you know, they're not moving at all. TapBit. TAPBIT. And my affiliate link is in the description. So you could just go into the description and click on it. That's the easiest. Just keep trolling and holding. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. It seems like every morning I stream, Bitcoin comes up a little bit, and then after I stop streaming, it goes down a little bit. We need Bitcoin to do something. Break above 43, you know, get back to 44, bring some excitement. I think right now it's just way, 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 way too sideways, right? We have two parties going on. We have some that are selling, some are buying in massive quantities, and it's kind of balancing each other out right now. What do you think, NMCT, what do you think the actual number of Bitcoin in circulation is? After looking at 10 plus year holders, there's just no way that's more than 15 million after calculating accidentally lost keys and wrong address. You know, it's anyone's guess. But I've seen figures that claim up to 8 million have been lost. It may be high. Maybe it's more like 3 or 4 million Bitcoin. But you look at the circulating supply right here, 19.6. Okay, that's 93% of all mined already. If you subtract off, let's just say 5, you know, you're down to 14 million. And then you calculate how much all these big boys are holding, and then you realize that 14 million is down to 10 million. And then you subtract off, like, you know, the miners, the long-term holders. I mean, You realize it's really low. The exchanges only have about 2 million, and OTC, who knows? You know, OTC could be a lot more, but eventually that's going to dry out. I mean, again, it's just supply and demand, and nothing more scarce than Bitcoin. Hey George, Pierce Brosnan got charged for trespassing at Yellowstone. That's actually hilarious. That's hilarious. Maybe he was just trying to film or something. Those of you guys that don't know, I met him on a plane. Took a picture with him. He was not very pleased, but I got a picture. And he was dressed in a suit, a very nice suit, while on the plane. How long after halving does a correction happen? I don't know. Maybe there's no correction. Maybe it comes right away. Maybe it's like 6 months. I have no idea. Can you see CULO hitting 10 million market cap soon? I certainly hope so. If it just hit 3 million, it can definitely go a lot higher. It's starting off really slow though. You know, most memes, when they get released, they pump up to like 10 million, 15 million right away. This is slow and steady growth, which actually for a meme is what you want. So we'll see. Dude, I don't know if you're saying you have an interesting opinion or view on BTC Energy, or you want me to have an opinion. I don't know what you just said. Corgi AI. Is it Astar or just Corgi AI? I mean, wow, they're actually much bigger than I expected. 400 million. They're on Kronos. They're actually social club. Yeah. It's a social club where people go talk about AI, and they made it into like a meme. Why does a social club need to have a token, and why is that token worth $437 million? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, that's not something I'm gonna ever get behind. What car are you buying this bull run? I want a 911, but I saw GX 550. You know, GX 550, I haven't seen one in real life, but I mean, it doesn't really look all that impressive to me. It looks more like a, Toyota 4Runner. And the inside was even less impressive. Lexus cars, man, if you compare the interior to any of the Germans, it's like a 20-year gap, So that's the problem with Lexus. They have their loyal fan base. People love the reliability and dependability. There's no doubt about it. But in terms of powertrain, in terms of interior, comforts, everything, they're like 20 years behind the Germans. You go sit in a GLE, a Mercedes GLE or GLS, and then go sit in a Lexus, and you feel like you went back 20 years. I bought a 98 Firebird, and I'm going to fix it up. Hey, you know what? I've seen a lot of, if you want to make some money, do TikTok videos on that. I've seen a lot of people do really good TikToks on car rebuilds. They bought an old Corvette or a new Mustang or whatever, and they're just modifying them, souping them up. And I saw one with a Mercedes, someone trying to update an old SL into a newer SL, right? Like, if you do it, you can make good money and get views too. You could buy a 93 refurbished Land Cruiser. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? NENU is omni-chain. It's on 15 chains. Okay. What is it doing? Yeah, NENU is not doing well at all, man. Most new vehicles are impressive. They're all cookie cutter for the most part. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It just depends on what vehicle. I mean, BMWs are kind of boring. Audis are kind of boring. I think Mercedes is doing well, except their EV stuff, which also sucks. Basically, if you want to get into a new car that you would enjoy, don't get an EV car because they're just not very enjoyable. Do you believe in Kathy Wood's 1.5 million prediction? You know what? I can't dispute it. She says it's 2030. She's not saying by 2025, right? If we hit, let's say 300,000 by 2025, from 300,000 to 1.5 million, it's only 5x. Can we do a 5x in another cycle? Yeah, we certainly can. So I think that's doable. Maybe a little bit far-fetched. I would say 1 million first, you know, but you know, it's doable. We'll do my Q60 build, but I want a 911 Turbo S GT3. You know what? It's not Turbo S, it's just Turbo GT3. I mean, it's just 911 GT3, not Turbo S. You know, I was just actually looking at it last night, looking at the newer GT3s, and they have not really dropped in price at all. Those old Toyotas and Gems, they last forever, but, you know, I kind of want something newer and more enjoyable and something that doesn't take, you know, forever to get a 0 to 60. My brother-in-law has a older Land Cruiser. I think it's the i6 one. And literally when you floor it, it takes like 20 seconds to get to 60. It's not very enjoyable. And it looks like a big car, but inside actually not that big. Nothing but degens in this channel. You know, when the market's not moving, what else you could talk about? You know, it's okay to be able to just talk about whatever. You want to talk about memes, you want to talk about cars, you want to talk about sports, whatever. That's the whole point of having live Q&A, right? But yeah, I love to see Bitcoin move a little right now, but I told you guys there are a lot of forces at play. You know, Bitcoin halving is going to be a big thing. Parabolic run starts on that day. But in the meantime, you know, anything goes. Maybe a Solana ETF. Maybe memes pump more. Maybe the L1 start pumping. Maybe we'll see some good games. Do you still believe Cock will do a 10x from here? I think Cock could do a 100x from here. It's only like you know, 100 million. Just wait until the market explodes. When the market explodes, memes explode, everything explodes. You look at what has happened with previous memes like Doge and Sheep, they exploded within a single month. I think when Avalanche starts exploding, Cock Inu will explode. Evan, appreciate that. Audi SQS, you mean RSQS? It's yours without paying the price tag. But the thing is, okay, you buy yours not because you're trying to you're not trying to like save money, okay? You're doing it because you're buying the name. It's just same thing like when you buy an LV bag versus a $20 bag from Walmart. They both do the same thing, and they're probably both going to last forever. But you're buying an LV name versus a Walmart bag. So if you're buying an Audi and you think you're saving money versus a Urus, at the end of the day, you own the Audi when someone else owns a Lambo. So that's the difference. You're buying the name, right? You're not going to really like use it on a track or anything else. So that, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just how it is. You're either buying an Audi or you're buying a Lambo. It's like you're buying Litecoin versus Bitcoin, right? Like, why would you buy Litecoin when you could buy Bitcoin? Jamie Dimon asks how anyone will know BTC will stop once supply hits 21 million. First of all, he's not going to be around. I'm not going to be around. It's not going to hit until 2140. Joe Kernan, I love Joe Kernan now because he's always defending Bitcoin. And like Jamie Dimon just like cut him off in that interview. Because Jamie Dimon, he refuses to recognize that Bitcoin is not like a bank. It's not like the Federal Reserve. Okay, you can't just press some numbers and it makes it happen, right? The code is defined and governed by the miners and the network, and you just can't make a change like that. Would you be able to check the website, Gary Inu? No, I don't even know the website. I think you said you were going to send me half, and then I never got any info from you. I don't know what the website is. I don't even know it's been released. You got to email me if you're serious. If you created it, you got to let me know. Vandy Dandy. People laughed as Kathy Wood's Tesla predictions hit one after another. Some argue that it was just pure luck. She just threw some stuff out there and it just happened, right? Whether or not she was really a genius and saw, you know, she had a good argument, let's say, against those predictions. I don't know. But I do believe that Kathy Wood's Bitcoin prediction can happen. Because it makes sense. Like, if we hit 300,000 this cycle, it's only a 5x from there. In the next cycle, that could certainly happen. Especially with the big boys. With the big boys, they're buying like crazy. It could happen. All right, guys. To conclude, Parabolic bull run is going to start soon, right? Don't let all these big boys take all of your Bitcoin away from you, okay? Even though Grayscale selling, BlackRock is accumulating. Fidelity is accumulating. Bitwise, ARK, Invesco, Franklin Templeton, they're all buying by leaps and bounds. Don't let these guys take all your Bitcoin away from you. So make sure you stay in the game. Don't get fudded out. Enjoy yourself. Don't get too greedy. Take profits when you need to. And wait for this day to come. Less than 100 days away. All right, guys. Smash the like. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? 8:30 p.m. Don't miss it.